free plugins that work smarter than most people's paid chains. Hey guys, I am DJ Legion from Audio Waves Academy, and I really want to ask you something. Do your mixes still lack that patchy radio ready sound? Well, here's the truth. It's not about the tools, it's how you use them. And I will show you exactly how I got this Pro Master without spending even 1 cent. If you have a closer look here on my chain, I'm just going to use this one on the channel because on the master chain, I have what I usually use for mastering my plugins are this here. I always have 3 different stages when I am mastering. The first one is going to be correcting if I need to adjust some things. The other one is going to be coloring, and the final stage is going to be the loudness. For the corrective, I'm going to start here. Right now I have the ZL equalizer. The main reason why I love this plugin is because it supports dynamic EQ and linear phase mode. It is super useful, but it doesn't work as it should. Let me show you here. If I go here on the general and I use this one on linear phase, it stops working as a dynamic. I thought this should be really important to mention before I start everything here. The EQing thing here was pretty simple. I was just searching for some spots that I wanted to clear, and for example, have a listen here. We had some resonances there. Let's go here on this spot. And here I have this one. Then I made here a low end cut, but only on the sides because I wanted the bass and the kick there to be really tight and centered. There are some small things there if you try to listen carefully. But I wanted to use the low shelf and not the low cut because right now in this here we have the linear phase, but sometimes it works much better if you use the low shelf and not the low cut. Now the second plugin on my chain is again the ZL equalizer, but this time it works as a dynamic EQ, and for more control I use this dynamic EQ again to tame some hi-hats here on these high frequencies and also dial down some low and clarity. Nothing too extreme, just focused on control. And also really important for these 2 points here that we have. On the first one, I got a really quick attack and a really quick release, and here I got a medium attack and a medium release. Now let's go on the next plugin, which is going to be the TDR Kotelnikov. The TDR Kotelnikov is a compressor plugin, and I use this one to soften a few transients. That's why you are going to see here that I have a really quick attack and a really quick release. And the ratio is on 2:1. You can go and do a 4:1, but I wouldn't suggest on mastering. The 2:1 works also pretty well. And the threshold here is, my goal here is to go and not go above like -1, -2 dB reduction. So I'm just taming a little bit these transients, and really important here, we do not use any makeup gain, we just want to tame the transients. This plugin, in my opinion, is one of the best free compressors that you can go and get. Seriously, it works like every time. You can go and do so many more things. Now let's go on the next compressor, which is from Analog Obsession, and this is the Buster SE from Analog Obsession. This is an emulator from the SSL bus compressor, and the main reason why I wanted to do this, why I wanted to use this one, is because I wanted this SSL kind of feeling, and if I go and activate it, it gives the track more like a glued cohesion that I was looking for. And we have here a really low ratio here on 1.5 and full mix. The release is on auto and the attack is at 3 ms. The threshold, my goal here is again to not go like overdo it like too much, just a little bit like the needle starts to move. And now let's go on the coloring phase. By the way guys, if you like the video so far, do me a favor please, hit the sub button. Now let's go on. Here I'm going to use the Tape Cassette 2, which is an emulator for a tape plugin, and this really helps the track to have this analog vibe that you can go and use if you really love this kind of feeling. If you listen carefully with the Tape Cassette 2, you have this vintage vibe and you have to listen like very closely. We have a really big scope here on the highs, and if I go and activate the EQ curve, look at this curve here that we have. Look at how much we are attenuating, and if I go and deactivate it, such a big difference, right? If you want this kind of track, if you want this kind of vibe, you can go and use it. And also really important here, because from default the IR is activated, and you have this thing and you don't want so much high cut. You go and deactivate it, and I just boost a little bit here with the saturation, and I took out the noise, just a little bit wow effect and nothing else. The flatter, no, nothing. And we don't need any low pass. So you have to be also really careful with the saturation knob here on the Tape Cassette 2, just enough to give it that analog flavor. And then for coloring, I really love this plugin, and I'm going to use these both sections here. The one is going to be the boost and the attenuate on the low frequencies. By the way, the name of the plugin is the PureTech, again from Analog Obsession. They do like really great plugins for free. And look at this, you have a little bump here and then it goes down. And if I go and put the 3 and 3 again here, you have like, this is a really typical effect from the PureTech, but I didn't like it so much right now here, so I brought it back. And the next thing that I really liked here is on the high frequencies. I use this one like always when I want to give some air there. So on the high frequencies, I just choose the 10K and just boost a little bit, because here we have attenuated from the tape cassette. And if I go and take it down, for example, right now here we don't have the tape cassette and I go and deactivate it. You see, we are boosting just a little bit here the highs. Right now it says like 7 dB, but if I go and use the tape cassette, you're seeing that we don't boost so much as we had earlier. This is just a fixing thing, a color thing that I really love to use on my mastering. It makes the track right away a little bit more coming through. And finally, let's talk about loudness. First plugin that I'm going to use is the KC Clip 0, and I use this one for hard clipping. I slowly pushed it until it just started to distort. Let me show you what this technique. This is a really common technique if you want to achieve a great sound. Both of them, the in and the out, are linked. So right now we have, for example, the track is really distorted, and we go and bring it back. And here we have the option to soft clip or hard clip. I always tend to go and do a hard clip, but if you want, you go on 100% soften. I like a bit more here on the hard clip. And if you have a closer look here on the waveform, these frequencies here in the middle, for example, you can see that right now we don't have so many, like a really big peak. And again, we have this transit that they are coming through. Let's go and activate it again. And now it is more flat. And the last step is going to be this one here. And this is like the ultimate free limiter that is out there. Let's go and break down now the threshold. right now we are hit at minus 8.6 LUFS. That's really loud, and it works like really well for modern platforms. My goal here when I use the wave breaker is to not go and have like minus 3 here or above. From the default, if you go here, is the compensate, it's like this, but I go and take it out and I go on the normalize. For tracks, I always tend to have the minus 0.1, and a lot of people want the minus 1, but this is how I like to master at minus 0.1, because there I have like a full master, full loudness. And you can see also from the waveform that it is really full. And we have at minus 3 at the most. We're not doing much more. This section also is really important. I kept the saturation on 0% because I didn't like the saturation, how it sounded. I wanted to have the preserve at 100% because I wanted to retain the transients. By the way, if you love mastering and you want more control and faster results, I recommend checking out my course, Mastering with FabFilter plugins. In that course, I break down my entire mastering process using only FabFilter plugins, step by step with real examples, so you can get professional results faster. Now that we have our master, I wanted to test it with my reference that I had, just a really quick mastering here that I had with these plugins. As you can see, these plugins are really high quality plugins and really expensive also plugins from UAD, from the Pro Q4, and the Pro L and the Crafter and everything. And now let's go and compare it, and I imported it on the Matrix AB, and on the yellow it's going to be the mastered, the high quality master, let's say, and the blue is going to be the free plugins master. Now that we have an idea, let's go and open here Matrix AB, and again here we have on layered. I'm going to show you also on the spectrum how everything seems. Let's go and take down a little bit of the volume because I want also to explain. Right now we are going to see that we have some like almost the same graph here, but on our orange, which is going to be the reference track, we have a little bit more here on the highs in this section here. So let's go and focus only on the sub. It's almost the same. On this bass section, if I listen carefully on our track here that we did on with the free plugins, you're going to hear that we have some pumpiness that happens there. Maybe this comes from the ZL equalizer, I think, and somehow it doesn't work so well as I wanted here in comparison with the reference. On the reference, we have much more control. Now let's go on the low mid. Small differences there. Here, for example, I can hear that the kick, the transients from the kick come a little bit better in comparison with the reference. Here is almost identical. Let's go now on the highs. Here we see that we have a big difference. We have much more highs here in our reference track. And let's listen on the side. On the reference track, we have much more side information there. But in general, I can say that the master that we did here with the free plugins, they sound pretty decent. But there is one big disadvantage. And in my opinion, is that it is really important. One thing that really makes me like say, okay, I will not do it like this anyway. It took me almost double the time to get sounding right, because free plugins can get you there like 100%, but they often require more fine-tuning. It might be also my fault because I don't know this plugin's like so good in comparison with what I always use like every day. But for example, here on the ZL equalizer, I've also mentioned it on another video that I found the ZL equalizer a bit too aggressive in comparison, for example, with the Pro Q4. So you have to be really careful there. If you're attenuating like -4, it says -4, but it can be a bit more in comparison with the FabFilter. Don't take me wrong, it came pretty close to my reference master, but not like I really wanted. Of course, if you are on a budget, I would absolutely recommend trying this setup. But guys, seriously, do not underestimate the stock plugins on your DAW. You might already have what you need. And when we are talking about mastering, I would never master my tracks without one plugin. It's one of my go-to tools for getting a really clean and loud master without killing the dynamics. And if you want to see how I use it in detail, check out this video here, where I walk you through my full workflow step by step. It will impact your loudness game in just 2 clicks. See you there.